participant. We're live. That's what it says. Good evening. This is the public hearing pursuant to Section 147 of the Internal Revenue Code and Section 859 of the General Municipal Law. My name is Craig Clark, and I'm the Executive Director of the Allegheny County Capital Resource Corporation. Today we're holding a public hearing to allow citizens to make a statement for the record relating to the sponsorship and involvement of the issuer with a proposed project for benefit of Houghton College, State of New York not-for-profit corporation. I will dispense from reading the full description of the project because it's in the public hearing, which are copies here on the table and have been published in two different newspapers, which I'll mention. The actual bonding is for basically consolidating debt over the years into one bond. For clarification purpose, I would like to state that the obligations of the issuer issued with respect to this proposed project will not be the obligations of the State of New York or municipality for the benefit of the issuer, as well as the LPA. This means that if the holders of the obligations are not paid by the institution, the holder of the obligations will not be able to come back against the issuer or the county. The obligations are not an obligation of the county or the taxpayers of the county. And now intend to provide some general information of the issuer's general authority and public purpose to provide assistance on this proposed project. I will then open the comment period to receive comments from all present. The issuer is a New York State not-for-profit corporation created pursuant to Section 1411 of the Not-for-Profit Corporation Law of the State of New York, as amended pursuant to the provisions of Enabling Act and Revenue Ruling 57-187 and Private Letter Ruling 200936012. The County Legislature of Allegheny County, New York adopted a resolution on August 24, 2009, authorizing the incorporation of the issuer under the Enabling Act and appointing the initial members of the Board of Directors of the issuer. On the August 28, 2009, the certificate of corporation was filed with the New York State Secretary of State office, creating the issuer as a public instrument of the county. This is the Capital Resource Corporation. Because the institution is located within the county, the institution is eligible for assistance from the issuer. Purpose of this public hearing, pursuant to Section 147F of the Internal Revenue Code of 1986 as amended, if any portion of the obligations intend to be issued as federally tax-exempt obligations, the interest on will be excluded from the gross income of the holders thereof for federal income tax purposes. Then prior to issuing such portion of the obligations, the issuer must hold a public hearing on the nature and location of the initial project and the issuance of the obligations. And thereof, the Board of Legislators of Allegheny County must also approve the issuance of obligations. After consideration of the application received from the institution, the members of the Board of Directors of the CRC adopted a resolution on January 13, 2022, authorizing, among other things, the chairperson of the issuer to conduct a public hearing with respect to the proposed project. The chairperson of the issuer caused notice of the public hearing to be published January 21st, 2022 in the Spectrum and the Olean News, newspapers for general circulation available to the residents of the town of Canandaigua, Allegheny County, New York. In addition, the chairperson of the issuer caused notice of the public hearing to be posted January 19th on a public bulletin board located at 8911 State Route 19 of the town of Canandaigua, Allegheny, New York, and the issuer's website was also published. Copies of the notice of public hearing are available on the table. Now, unless there's an objection, I'm going to suggest waiving the full reading of the notice of the public hearing and request that the full text of the notice of the public hearing be inserted in the record of the public hearing. The comments received today at this public hearing will be presented to the members of the Board of Directors of the issuer at or prior to the meeting at which the members of the issuer will consider whether to approve the undertaking of the project. Comments received today at the public hearing will also be presented to the Board of Legislators. The notice of the public hearing indicated that written comments could be received by Craig R. Clark, Executive Director, and written comments have been received by the issuer prior to this public hearing. I will now open the public hearing for public comment. at 6:05, and we'll see if there's any public comments and wait to be recognized. Once recognized, please let me know your name and who you represent. Please keep there's no problem about making comments because there's only two people here at the public hearing, so you can speak probably as long as you'd like. When anyone has the opportunity to speak, I will conclude this public hearing as indicated above. A record of the public hearing will be prepared and reviewed by the members of the issuer in connection with the issuer's consideration of the proposed project. Also, as indicated above, a copy of the public hearing will also be presented to the Board of Legislators. Again, the purpose of this public hearing is to solicit public comment on this project. We're not here to answer questions, however, we will, in the course of the public hearing, consider questions if we have the information. I will now ask if there's anyone in attendance who wishes to comment on either the nature or the project itself or location of the initial project facility or proposed financial assistance being contemplated by the issuer. For the record, as I noticed, please state your name and indicate any comments. Are there any comments from the public? It's pretty quiet. We will hold the public hearing for a few minutes here to make sure we're into the issue that for at least 15 minutes from we said, which is 6 o'clock. So we'll see how that goes. If there's no meetings, we'll then actually close the public hearing once we give it enough time. So we've got 8 minutes to wait. TikTok. Dana Hand is asked, "What's the project?" So somebody's actually watching. The project is refinancing. A number of projects have happened at the Houghton over the years. The only thing that's new under the project, which is about $25 million, is going to be something less than between $4 and $5 million of HVAC upgrades. So most of the money that's being bonded out, the $20 million, is to consolidate debt over the years. No, thank you for asking, Dana. There are only two members here in the public, so you asked a question. I appreciate that. Dana, could you please let me know exactly so the public record shows where you're resident of? So that would be helpful so I can put it in the public record.
Confirm Houghton College's efforts to save the institution and their alumni.
Yeah. Yeah, the full application as well as the full public notice as well as the whole project is listed on our website, Dan, if you have any questions. It's now been a full 15 minutes actually, since the beginning of the 6 o'clock posted time. And so if there are no further comments, and all I've had is one comment on the chat, I will close this public hearing at 6:16. Thank you for listening and attending, and we will post this on our website. Thank you.